Well, folks, it's that moment. It's time to finally do the DVD review of the Huckleberry Hound show on Blu-ray. You guys ready? Okay, let's do this. So, this is going to be a pretty long video. I've got a lot of stuff to talk about. So, let's just get into the packaging. So, this is going to be the first in this series that I do that's in this style of packaging. So, yeah, we have the Warner Archive Collection logo on top, as normal. There's the Huckleberry Hound show. You can see the logo right there. And when I first saw this, I was kind of a little bit disappointed that it was just a standard stock image of Huck right there. But honestly, this cover does look pretty nice. You got Huck right there, and you basically have the little purple background with yellow text, which looks really nice. This is the complete original series on 11 discs, so this is the biggest set I have reviewed so far. I believe the Underdog complete series sets, that was a 7-disc set, so we've got more discs in this one. So here's the top. It's just a logo right there. The complete original series. Nothing on the bottom. Here's the spine. It is a Blu-ray release, in case you didn't know that. The Huckleberry Hound show, and there's Huck again. Normally, Warner Archive releases are black spines. This does help it stand out, honestly. So that's pretty nice. Anyway, here's the biography. You can pause it if you'd like to read it. The special features, there's 3 special features here, all from the original Golden Collection release for Volume 1. But we have Huckleberry Quotes, the remix music video, which celebrates memorable Huckleberry Hound quotes. Huckleberry Hound, a linguistic masterpiece. Hound speak is humorously interpreted by a linguistics professor. And the legendary sounds of Dawes Butler, an affectionate remembrance of the brilliant voice artist who lent his talents to voice Huck and Yogi among many other beloved characters. We have some memorable Huck scenes right there. And this is 2,175 minutes. So this is a really long set. Not rated. So yeah, let's go ahead and take the cases out. So here I have the Huckleberry Hound Show Season 1, Volume 1, the Diamond Collection release. Let's go ahead and do a comparison here. So, we have here Season 1. Nice little artwork with Yogi and Boo Boo. I do like the artwork on the Diamond Collection a bit more, because there's just so much more stuff going on. But that's pretty much the only thing I honestly prefer from the Diamond Collection, as we'll see later. So anyway, here's the spines. And yeah, the back, pretty different. It just has some nice artwork on the back. This has the episode list on the back, because they kind of stopped doing the paper stuff for these releases. So we just have an episode list on the back. Nice that they have it on the back rather than put it on the discs. I much prefer it this way, because then we could run along and just see where the thing is. But I opened this one really quick. Here's the episode list here. So it's the same order, but there's less on this is a 4-disc set, and this only has 3 discs. So there's less on this and more content on this. So yeah, really nice. I do really like that flyer. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and open it up. Okay, so here's what the insides look like. I am going to have to take out these discs really quick. They are stacked. That's something I've never really liked about the Diamond Collection releases, is that these are stacked discs. So yeah, here's disc 1. This one has Huck on it. Disc 2 with Yogi and Boo Boo. And Disc 3 with Pixie Dixie and Mr. Jinx. So everyone gets a little a disc all to themselves. Pretty nice. And now, here's the new release. Here's Disc 1, Disc 2, Disc 3, and Disc 4. It's a nice little artwork of Huck. I can understand him not doing specific artwork on every disc, but yeah. I'm going to go ahead and pop the discs into the menu for the Blu-ray releases later. If you want to see the menu for the Diamond Collection DVD, go ahead and watch that video. I'll probably have it linked down in the pinned comment. Go ahead and watch it. I did review it a couple months back. So, yeah, go ahead and watch that video if you have not seen my review of this. So anyway, that's Season 1. Case 2 is Seasons 2 and 3. This is where we get to unknown territory. But yeah, we have Seasons 2 and 3. There's Huck again with Pixie Dixie and Mr. Jinx. Nice little artwork there. Same spine as the other ones. And there's the episode list right there. Some of my favorites shorts are in this set. But yeah, we continue with Disc 5. Season 2 has Yogi and Boo Boo. Pretty nice. And then here's Season 3 with Pixie Dixie and Mr. Jinx. Unfortunately, they just used the same artwork as the case for those. Would be nice if they would just, they did different artwork, but whatever. It is what it is. And here is Season 4 with Hokey. Hokey was introduced in Season 3. And here he is on the Season 4 cover. Looks pretty nice. Only 3 discs in this case. So here's the final episodes. Again, pretty good shorts here. And then the final discs have the 3 special features. But yeah, here's Disc 9. There's Hokey again. They didn't put Dingling on the discs or covers for whatever reason. Kind of like the odd one out. All right. Well, that is the cases. I'm going to go ahead and put these up right here. They look really nice together like this. So yeah, that's a look at the cases. Let's go ahead and pop these in, and we'll go from. All right, here is Disc 1. If my camera would stop shaking. So yeah, what's pretty nice about the menu is that it actually plays the Huckleberry Hound show theme, which is pretty nice. Not many Warner Archive releases do this. So it's pretty nice that we get to see that here. They play the intro and then they kind of just loop to the credit theme, which is really nice. So we have play all. We can turn these subtitles on and off. And here are these shows. And I believe you could just hit the show one and yeah, it'll just tell you the shorts. So I'm just going to go ahead and run through these. This video is going to be long anyway. So we're just going to go ahead and go through these. I'm just going to point out any that really stick out to me. Slumber Party Smarty. That's the first one with Yaki, which then was like a Bluebird. Tricky Trapper. That's a pretty fun one. There's Sheriff Huckleberry. That one has the Daltons in it. And then, yeah, there's show 6. Okay, let's move on to disc number 2. All right, here is disc number 2. Subtitles again. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. Nice. Not much to say for some of these. High Fly Guy. Funnily enough, I think this one actually had an error that they patched for this release. which was shown on like which is currently shown on like Tubi, where Yogi, there's like one of they accidentally played part of one of the Yogi Bear show bumpers, which is kind of funny. There you go. And this is where, you notice, for shows 10 through, I think 13, no. Shows 10 through 21, they have repeats of previous shorts. Fireman Hug is one of my favorites. It's super funny. There's the Stout Trout with the rare Yogi intro where they play a higher pitched version of his original theme. So yeah, that's disc 2. Let's move on to disc 3. Okay, here is disc 3. And I do realize that if you've seen the Season 1 Volume 1 DVD review, you probably already seen these before, but just in case, I just want to make sure I include everything here. So yeah, Jinx's Flying Carpet, one of my favorite Pixie Dixie cartoons. Runaway Bear. Yeah. Again, make sure to watch, if you haven't already, go and watch Season 1, Volume 1, if you want to see what those menus are like. And just more of my thoughts on that release. Alright, let's move to Disc 4. Here is Disc 4. So this is the last part of Season 1. So again, you've probably already seen it. Hokum Smokum might be my favorite Huckleberry Hound cartoon. I just love the interaction between Huckleberry Hound as a great-grandparent and his great-grandson. That is just a really fun interaction. Jinx's Mice Device. Postman Panic. This is a classic. It's one of the. It's a classic. I think that one actually had a. I think that one actually was bundled with. There was like maybe a print of that, probably bundled with the Golden Collection. Obviously, I don't have that. Lion Tamer Huck, not to be confused with. Like, there's like 4 Huck cartoons where he deals with lions, which is funny. Little Red Riding Hood, again, another classic Huckleberry Hound cartoon. It's one of the ones I tend to think of first. It's also weird because it's also the only one where he wears his iconic hat, which is kind of funny because I think there's like over 50 Huck cartoons, and this is the only one where he wears his iconic hat. And then 26, there's the ones for that. Anyway, we're going to move on now to Disc 5. Disc number 5. And this is the first half of Season 2. Some really great one. This is like a really good start right here. Huck and Tenpin Alley, Yogi Showbiz Bear, Hi Fido with Pixie and Dixie. That's a really good set of episodes. Grim Pilgrim, again, another really great cartoon. Lullaby Bear, by the way, this is where they finally figured out the range, what they want the ranger to be. And I believe a couple cartoons later, here's Barefaced Bear. Not to be confused with Barefaced Disguise. The Yogi Bear Show DVD has that issue. But yeah, I believe a couple cartoons later, he finally gets his official name. I believe, not this one. Somebody's lion. Again, this is what I was talking about. Another one where Huck faces a lion. There's a lot of those. King Size Poodle. Really funny Pixie Dixie cartoon, honestly. Stranger Ranger. I think this might be where Mr. Ranger Smith gets his name. I'm not sure. Again, it's been a while since I've seen it. Okay, on to disc number 6. Disc number 6. Yeah, there's Huck the Giant Killer. That's one of the ones that they had on the back of the case. It's the cardboard case. I guess maybe it's cardboard. I'm not sure. Cop and Saucer. Another really good Huck cartoon. Huck seems to have the best cartoons. Him and Yogi. Wound Up Bear. I love that one. It's where Boo Boo gets to pretend to be a wind-up toy. It's really funny. Bewitched Bear. With Winnie the Witch, not to be confused with another Winnie. Heavens to Jinxie, that one is on the Cartoon Crack-Ups DVD. I have not reviewed that one, actually. I don't know if I will. Piccadilly Dilly. This is my favorite Yogi Bear cartoon, at least of the ones for the Huckleberry Hound show. I love this cartoon. Hoodwinked Bear. Really fun. But one of the most best moments for me is like when Boo Boo's like, I'm a little Boo Boo. There you go. And then, yeah, Space Bear, the final one made specifically for the final one made specifically for the Huckleberry Hound show. And yeah, this is where we say so long to Yogi. But yeah, let's move on to season 3 now. Disc 7, my lucky number. There's gonna be some, you can tell there's gonna be some good ones, and there is. So we start off with Spud Dud, which is another cartoon from the Cartoon Crack-Ups DVD. And here we get the first Hokey cartoon in Tricks and Treats. So yeah, we by this point in time, Yogi Bear was replaced with Hokey Wolf because Yogi started his own show. Although it was kind of more complicated than that. I'm not going to go into that here today. And yeah. Starting from this point onwards, the order is set in stone. Huck is first, Pixie Dixie is second, and Hokey's third. And then before that, they were kind of just swapping around for a bit there. Pied Piper Pipe is a really good one. I just really like the story of the Pied Piper, and just have Mr. Jinx do a little Pied Piper just to make Pixie Dixie dance. That's pretty good. That's not my favorite though. It's coming up. Pick a Chick is really hilarious, especially with the monotone farmer. And then we get a Huckhound's Tale, the sequel to Hokum Smokum. Not as good, but it's still pretty good. This is my favorite Pixie Dixie Mr. Jinx cartoon. A Party Peeper Jinx. Mr. Jinx just doesn't invite Pixie Dixie at all. So then they team up with the dog to just sort of get them invited again. And then the ending's just hilarious because Mr. Jinx just calls out. I'm not going to tell anything, but it's really funny. Just, you got to see for yourselves. And there's Robot Plot for Hokey. All right, moving on. And here is Disc 8, the second half of Season 3. So yeah, we got that. Interesting enough, we have Bean Podners. I believe that one had the working title of Boobs in the Woods for Hokey. Pretty interesting. But yeah. Kind of Macy's Week, another really good Pixie Dixie and Mr. Jinx. This is kind of where this season's kind of has the best Pixie Dixie and Mr. Jinx cartoons in my opinion. They're really good here. Astronaut Hook, that's a good one. Jinx. And I actually clipped this one because it had a really weird. No, I'm sorry. I'm talking about a similar title one that's coming up in the next disc. Sorry. They have similar names. Go. And 52. There you go. All right, disc number 9. All right, we're kind of wrapping up the series here. We have disc number 9. Okay, here's some more. This is what I was talking about. Jinx's Jinx. This one had a weird intro. I think another one later on in the next disc had one too. But it starts out with the normal Pixie Dixie Mr. Jinx intro, and then when it gets to the title, it kind of just cuts to the Quick Draw McGraw show theme for some reason. Go. I haven't really talked much about the Hokey cartoons. They're kind of my least favorite, but there's still some good ones. There's Russian Wolfhound. Bombay Mouse, really nice one right there. The Glass Sneaker, where Hokey is like. Hokey is in like the Cinderella and he kind of just messes everything up. And then all of a sudden he realizes, oh. And then yeah. Huck del Paris. I always wondered why they named Paris like that. Like this is I don't if it's supposed to be French or something. There's Magician Jinx, another really good one. Okay, disc number 10. Okay. Oh. Okay. That was weird. Disc 10. There's Bars and Stripes. Bringing back a live one. And here's where we get to the final Huck and Pixie Dixie Mr. Jinx cartoons. There's just new Hokey cartoons. They kind of just reran some of the ones for season 1 here. For Huck and Pixie Dixie. I get that. Because they kind of ran out of cartoons. So that they just kind of have to fill in more for the Hokey cartoons. Because there's still new Hokey cartoons coming here. Kind of funny. There's actually 2 Hokey cartoons in a row that have to deal with money. I think. I forgot. It's been a while, guys. it's been a couple days since I've seen this disc. But yeah, let's move on to the final disc. And here it is, guys. The final disc. Disc number 11. Kind of an odd number to end it, but what can you do? So yeah, just 4 episodes here. Yeah, again, by this point, of course, all the Huck and Dixie cartoons have ended. And here's where we get to my favorite Hokey cartoon, 6th Sense. I love this cartoon. It's one of the last ones for Hokey, but it's pretty good. It takes place in like a hospital, and then Hokey kind of fakes he's sick, and then it just goes from there. It's all wackadoodle and stuff. It's really good. And then Aladdin's Lamb Chops is the final Hokey cartoon, which makes an odd number. So what do? You make another one with all rerun episodes. So yeah, my guess is that they only really wanted to do a even number for the final show. I get that. And then we have the 3 special features: Huckleberry Hound. Oh, come on. Huckleberry Hound, a linguistical masterpiece. The legendary sound of Dawes Butler, and the quotable quotes music video. And yeah, that is it for the menu. I know, really long, but we had 11 discs to get through. So I'm going to go ahead and go for my final thoughts, and we'll get out of here. Alright, so there are a couple things I would like to talk about that I haven't brought up yet. So first off, if you haven't read it, they actually included several bridging segments and several commercials. And honestly, that's kind of where the biggest downside of this set is. Because a lot of the bridging segments, and especially the commercials, are way too over-repeated. Like, I believe there's, like, one set of commercials that airs for seasons 1, 2, and 3. And then there's a second set that only airs for season 4 for some reason. I don't know why that is. It's very confusing to me. And I would have liked if there was a way we could view these without the commercials. Like, they did make it so that you could skip over them, which is nice, but I don't really feel like I have to do... I don't really want to do that. So yeah, just a way we could watch without the commercials would have been really nice. Not the bridging segments, but because those are technically part of the show, so I can get why they wouldn't do one for that. But yeah, and a lot of the bridging segments do repeat so often. There's like a few ending segments that repeat every episode. In season 1, there's like one where Huck is in a spaceship with his crewmates. That's the only one they do for season 1, and it repeats every episode. There's 26 in the first season, so it repeats every single episode, which kind of gets annoying after a while. And there's another ending segment that's used in season 4 that repeats every episode. That's the one where Huckleberry Hound is like operator of an elevator, so he has to guide his friends up and down the elevator. And again, that's repeated every single episode. It's not nearly as annoying this time, though, as there are only 16 episodes in season 4. But it does repeat every episode. But the one segment that is needed for for 30 episodes, like I think like a little over 30 episodes, is one of the Huckleberry Hound joints. Huckleberry Hound basically tries to dive into a pool, only to dive into a bucket instead. That is repeated for the entirety of season 1, so that's 26 episodes, and then it just scattered in there with several other segments for the rest of the seasons. Honestly, that's kind of the biggest downfall with it. There are just too many segments that repeat too often. But other than that, I'd say this is probably the best we've gotten for the Huckleberry Hound show. It's complete for one thing, unlike this. At least they did something with the Huckleberry Hound show on DVD, and I understand why they couldn't get the rest of the series on DVD, because I believe it was something with like musical issues and something to where they could only air it on television. So that's something I do understand. And there's one more thing I want to bring up. I've alluded to it already, but I've noticed there's some audio issues with some of the shorts. There's a couple Pixie Dixie shorts that have the Quick Draw McGraw Show theme as a title card, which was kind of weird. I think the weirdest one, though, is actually one of the Yogi cartoons called Duck and Luck. This wasn't a problem on the DVD version, but it, for whatever reason, was a problem here. For the ending title card, they just started up the regular Yogi Bear Show theme instead of the ending, which is kind of jarring because there's like 3 seconds of silence and then it just jumps into it and then just cuts right as the ending, when the ending cue ends, which was kind of strange, not gonna lie. And I think there's like one other Yogi cartoon. I forget what it is, but that one's in like a 16mm print, and it doesn't really look all that good, honestly. I know that they probably they couldn't find a 35mm print. Either that or I think they might have burned the Yogi cartoons from like the streaming service version and just used that one, just tweak it out a little bit. But yeah, I'm kind of disappointed with that. But otherwise, I'd say, honestly, this is a $70 set. This is honestly worth your buck. You get 11 discs, great cartoons, you get commercials, a couple special features, and you get the complete series. This is a win right here. If you're going to get the Huckleberry Hound show on physical media, this is the version you want to get. It has everything you need, everything you wanted, all in one package. $70. Remember, there's been some issues with pricing lately. This is definitely worth every penny of it. It sure as heck beats the Super Mario Galaxy bundle, am I right? Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for this long review. I'd like to thank you all for watching, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss another DVD review. I've been your host, ML the DVD Guy, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.